Hey, what it do, world? Welcome back to another edition of the Hood Scout podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to donate so we can keep this thing going. I got a guest from the West Coast with me, and without further ado, Coach, telling people who you are and where you from.
I'm Coach Dog Amaama. I'm from Utah, and I work here at the University of Utah for the football team as a recruiter. So, I'm just blessed to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Let's chop this thing up, Coach. Like I like to do, and we'll lead up to you now, Utah. Where did you grow up? What was that background like, and then what was that introduction into football for you?
Man, I'm a homegrown kid. Grew up here in Utah, and kind of just been stuck here ever since. My family they kind of moved here from the island, so um, Utah was kind of the stomping grounds for us. Once we moved, so kind of just been here, and our roots are here. So, I've been here. I started playing football when I was about 12, and man, it's just been something that I loved. So, it's just real easy.
So, Coach, what islands are your family from, and then what's some of you guys' cultural traditions?
Man, so my family were from Samoa. Both of my parents. My dad's from Western Samoa, and my mom's from American, and they both met in California, and then they kind of moved all of their roots and their whole family all down to Utah. So I think a big thing for us you know, that every other Polynesian can kind of, talk about with our culture is, something that we all have in common is family. Um, we're real big on family. Everything we do, win or lose, is, we do as a family. So, that's kind of one of our cultural staples that I like to, I think that everyone can kind of understand. So, family is real big to us.
Coach, what is, and I'm hitting on this piece, cultural piece, because I'm American, so a lot of stuff we don't know. What is sports kind of used as a way to make it out in the Polynesian community?
Yeah, man, just like anybody, trying to make it out, especially the poly kids. A lot of the times when we're younger, we don't have a lot of the means to go to college. Our parents don't have a lot of money. A lot of us come from you know, 12 people living in one house in a two-bedroom apartment. So we kind of have to use football, kind of as our gateway to get out, and that's real big in our culture. A lot of us kind of just migrated here, kind of without a plan. Football was the plan, so we kind of use that as as a little gateway to get into more opportunities and more doors opening for us. So.
Coach, what areas has the most kind of concentrated poly community? Is it Washington, California, Utah? Or is it a little bit more spread out?
Man, I think if anything, I want to say it's probably Utah. Out here, you
Wow,
can see.
Coach, I can't believe that. I would have thought Cali or somewhere.
No, there's way more parties out here in Utah than there is in California, and I'm in both a lot, so I can really speak for it. Man, out here you can see them everywhere on the street, at the store, at the restaurants, at the buffets. We're everywhere out here.
So when did that migration start? Was this like a 20-year thing, or did it kind of is more poly people in Utah now, or did it something go back decades?
I think it goes back a couple of decades just because of the church out here. A lot of our ancestors are real big on religion back home in the islands, and I
Mhm.
think we all kind of migrated out here because this is the headquarters for our religion out here. So that's kind of what has brought a lot of people here from the islands, and the cost of living out here is not too bad, and it's just real easy. So
So back to football, coach. Did you play in high school?
I did. So I played at a local high school out here, Bingham High School in South Jordan, Utah. And yeah, that's kind of where I played ball at, and then I was blessed to have the opportunity to play football up here at Utah.
Oh well, talk to me about that, coach. Talk to me about the recruiting process. Did you when you first played football? Did you figure you would have a kind of have a job in it outside of what I'm saying, outside of, like, let's say, going pro, even out of high school? Did you figure that you would be able to kind of make a living in the game?
Man, it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a walk on. Um, I just had the determination, and Just that real, I had a different swagger about me where I didn't really want people to tell me what I could do. So I kind of wanted to show them, prove them wrong every day. And, I'm grateful for them to even give me the opportunity to be part of the team. I came up and showed them what I could do, and they loved it. And, we kind of just been on since. And, I never thought I'd be where I'm at right now, um, especially with my job and the recruiting position that I'm in. Um, it's just real easy. The people around me make it real easy. I think when you love something and you do something you love, it's not really work anymore. It's just a passion. So, and I'm really grateful for the opportunities that my coaches have allowed me to use. And it's just crazy to think. Yeah, I never thought I'd be here right now. Being a recruiter for Utah, and I never thought that football could open up a door like this for me, and me being actually good at it. So, it's been good.
What do you remember, Coach, about those times when you were on the playing side of things in Utah? What were some of those nuggets that you remember that kind of helped you prepare you as a young man?
I think you just got to realize, that there's a lot of stuff that you have to do what you want to do. And I think, and when I say that, I'm talking more about like the school stuff. Um, because football's fun and all. Don't get me wrong, but it only lasts for so long. The game goes real quick. So that degree that you come in and that you can graduate with, that's what's going to hold you over for life. Hold your family over for life. So that was a big thing I remember. That was instilled to me from my coaches. From right when I started to even right now. It's just look at your opportunities, know what's going to get you the furthest, and just keep pounding at it. So they
What what did
did a real
what
good
did you
job.
what did you study in school, Coach?
So I graduated with a sociology degree,
Oh
my
wow.
bachelor's. Yeah, so um, man, it kind of just goes hand in hand. With my degree of work, what I do for work. So, I'm real blessed to be able to use my degrees, to, um, as work. So, um, like I always say, man, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah. Walk me through a little bit. About 7 minutes in, gonna be on just a little bit longer. Walk me through that post playing career, Coach. Did you figure you would go into the coaching side of things?
Man. So, um, man, it's a reality shock once your career is done and once you start hanging up the pads and you kind of realize like, dang, this is it. Um, and that was a big reality shock for me. I'm not gonna lie. I think other athletes, can kind of speak about it and they know what I'm talking about. It's a hard reality when you're done playing, and
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hit me hard. I was kind of going through some things, and just not having the game around there no more for me was kind of weird. Because it's just something that you do for your whole life. You just
Hmm.
it's a routine. So it was just crazy to think about, you know, what I was gonna do, and sure enough, I hit up my coaches up at Utah, and man, my job started off small. I started off in equipment, believe it or not. So
Mm.
I started off in
Coach,
equipment.
did you look at it like getting your foot in the door?
Yeah, so you know, I um, not a lot of people want to do equipment, and not a lot of people understand it. I'm the type of guy when I'm a player. When I was playing, I was good to everybody. I was good to the head coach, and I treated the people in equipment the same as I would treat my head coach. So
Hmm.
um, I kind of just needed somehow to get my foot in the door before they kind of started seeing what I was capable of. So I had to start off in equipment, and man, they just saw how good I am with people and how good I am at recruiting these kids, and they just saw it fit for me, so they offered me the recruiting job, and I kind of just ran with it ever since.
How long did it take you? What was that? How long was that transition from equipment manager, I'll call it, to a recruiter?
Man, it took me a good full season of working with equipment to kind of, you know, for them to see that I was really capable of, not just being, here to coach, but also recruiting. I love what I do, and I think I'm really good at it, and I don't, you know, I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I think there's a fine line to when you're confident at what you do, you kind of got to walk around with that swagger. So, I feel like I'm really good at what I do.
Let's talk a little bit about that, coach. What's your job title and what is it that you do? What's the logistics of it?
So I'm a recruiting assistant for the football team. I work specifically with the defensive coaches, specifically recruiting corners and defensive linemen.
Is there
So
any
that's kind
any area you guys like to attack, and then talk like is there any type of poly type of camps where those players can get exposure? I know they got the Polynesian Bowl, which is interesting, but any type of camps in any of these cities where these kids can gain exposure, coach?
yeah. So man, a lot of our coaches they're all Polynesian, most of them,
Oh
and
wow, cool.
we're all related somehow. That's how it is when you're Polynesian. So you got to be ready to be related to everybody. But it's crazy. We have a camp out here that we hold on our campus. It's called All Poly. So it's open to Polynesians, Caucasians, African Americans. It's open to all these athletes for us to be able to see firsthand. And man, you come in and you kind of see what it's like to be around the Polynesian culture. So it's real fun. They come and they give you a T-shirt with a tribal design on it. A backpack, and man, you just fly around and have fun. And man, that's just football at its finest right there.
I call y'all, and I'm just being, funny, but I'm serious. Y'all like our cousins, man. You know what I'm saying? Just y'all mannerism. I say y'all like our distant cousins. So, coach, where do a lot of the players come? Do a lot of the players kind of come from that Utah area, or do they come a little bit farther to come to those camps?
A lot of them come from, believe it or not, a lot of them come from California, Washington,
Okay.
Oregon, Texas. We've had a lot of, of course, Utah kids come through. So, we really try to hit home. If you can't win, in state, then you can't really win in any other state. So, I feel like we do a good job at, recruiting the kids out here and finding them young. But we also, our West Coast footprint is really good too. So,
Do you kind of see the Polynesian football growing? And I say that because the young man, I think Nico, who committed to Tennessee, and you got a few other high rated guys. Is the talent level growing or the exposure on the talent growing?
I think the talent on the exposure is growing. Because realistically, you don't really see a lot of Polynesian quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and DBs. Uh, Mostly when you see Polynesians in college or in the league, we're usually linemen or linebackers. So, we're slowly starting to move up in this recruiting thing, and just the talent and just years and years of watching and learning, and then these next group of kids learning at a younger age, and then man, them just turning it on faster. I think that's kind of what's been going on lately. You brought up Nico, and he's just real good at what he does, and I think it starts off with knowing you know what you've learned from other people, and kind of just growing up with that foundation of knowledge. So
So, coach, what is your assistant recruiter guy? How does that process work? Like, do the coaches tell you, I want you to look for this? Is it a matter of watching film? How does that work from an outsider perspective looking in?
a lot of the times, man, I do a real good job. Man, coach, when these kids hit me up on Twitter in my DMs, man, I do a good job at looking at every single one and replying back to every single kid. Um, Reason is because I've been that kid that was trying to get found and be found, and trying to send my highlight films to coaches through Twitter, email. So I feel like I owe it to these kids to look through Twitter. A lot of the times it's man, a lot of this recruiting stuff is either word of mouth or social media. That's what it is. That's kind of where it's going now, and I think it's going to be like that for a good while. So it's just if a coach tells me or tells one of our position coaches about a kid, and the position coach that I work with tells me to look at the kid, I'll do all my homework on that kid. What sports he
What, what,
plays,
what, what are you looking at, coach? What are you looking for when you say you do your homework? What are you looking for?
man. Grades. That's simple. Um, I think my biggest thing is if I watch your film and I'm not excited within the first 3 to 5 plays, I'm gonna keep it pushing because there's nothing you can show me on the rest of your film that's gonna really excite me. excite me if you don't show at the beginning. Um, it's just kind of like you want to be excited. A good friend of mine that just barely got picked up by the Eagles. He's a 5'7" receiver slot, and he kind of just set records here and was kind of a dude for us. And he has a quote that he says that I always try to preach to the kids: focus on what makes you unique. You
Mm.
got to show me. You got to show me what makes you different than everybody else out here. Whether it's you don't have to be the biggest dude. Okay, cool. You're not the biggest dude. All right, show me what makes you play big. Why do you play the way you do? What makes you different than what else I'm recruiting? Um, I have to feel fireworks. I call them fireworks. If I watch a film and you can tell when you watch somebody's film, you can just tell when they have fireworks. So I look for fireworks. Um, I got to do my grade checks. I got to make sure the grades are right because if they're not, then I'm wasting my time, your time, and we don't want to do that. So I look for grades and kind of just I have to call their coaches around to kind of see what kind of kid you are. Character is real important to me. I don't want to bring a kid that's going to come in and just fail drug tests and just expect us to just babysit him. No, when you come to college, you got to become a man. That's just how it is. This is a grown man's game, and then it's a grown man's
Mhm.
sport. So when you come in, you got to be real adult about how you go about your business. So I got to make sure the characters and everything is all in place. So
16 minutes in for to get it wrap it up. Coach, tell me what's your goals in this business? Like, where do you want to go? And then how do you learn? What are ways you sharpen your tools?
man, I honestly want to be the director of player personnel for a P5 school in the future. That's my goal. I
Hmm.
think that's the best way that I could help out the team. Um, without being a coach, is just by bringing in those dogs and bringing them in yearly. Um, I think there's that. Those are my goals, and um, I'm not settling for anything less. Uh,
Hmm.
that's what they are, and I'm gonna make sure I achieve them. So,
And then what's your ways of kind of growing as from a mental standpoint? Like, are there any things? What I guess I phrase it as, how are you getting better?
man, if you want to get better at my job, man, you got to be really good at you know treating people well. You got to be real good at getting to know people outside of football. Um, and I think for me, um, I didn't understand the safeties and the wide receiver and the corner position when I first got hired at the job. So what I did was I watched film with the corners coach, with the safeties coach, with the wide receivers coach, and I was with them at every practice, learning something new about the game. Um, I think I don't know. I think the best way that you can get better at my job is just being able to be humble about your business and knowing that you don't know everything, that you're still willing to learn, new things from different people. Like a lot of my coworkers, I learn different things from them all the time just by talking with them. So, I just think it's just more of a humble perspective on it. And if you kind of just go into the job, doing your best and realizing that you don't know everything and that you're willing to learn, a lot of doors will open for you. So.
Okay, and let's end with this one. Now, you kind of answered it a little bit, but let's end with this one. Give some advice to a young person that says, "Man, I want to work in college football, whether it's coaching, whether it's not coaching. I want to work in college football." Give them just a little bit of advice, and we'll wrap this thing up at just about 20 minutes in.
Man, dude, to work in college football, you got to be willing to work 7 days a week, some weeks, and long hours. This college football thing ain't for everybody. Um, man, we spend a lot of times away from our families, and it just comes with the territory. You kind of got to be willing to, you know, to sacrifice. That's what it is. You got to sacrifice a lot to get what you want. Um, if you want to be in college athletics, man, you got to be good to everybody. If you play college, athletics, be good to those GAs that are coaching you up right now. You never know where they might end up in the future. A lot of them could be position coaches at a P5 that you want to end up at. So it's just being good to people and conversate, build relationships. That's what recruiting is. Recruiting is relationships. So, just build relationships as many as you can, and then open your net out to the people that you can contact and that you can hit up. A lot of it is it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So
Mhm.
so that's kind of it
And
right there.
good stuff. I got one more question. You was talking, coach. Hey, you talking? Y'all big time. It's big time ball. Um, what is the size of that staff, coach? How big is that staff at a place like Utah? Like how many people got a hand in it? Whether is it 10, 20, 30? Whether it's support staff, just what's the number range of it?
Um, are you talking more about the whole staff as a whole, or
Yeah,
just
like
my
as a
department?
whole, like as a whole.
Um, so let's see, there's about one, three, five. It's about seven coaches on each side of the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and each of those coaches have a GA. So that's 14
Mm-hmm.
and 21, and then there's my staff. There's about, and then man, you got to think of the DPP. You got to think of the
What's
director of player
DPP, coach?
personnel. The DPP is the director of player personnel. They're kind
Okay.
of like the ones that kind of run everything, behind the scenes. You're kind
Mm-hmm.
of the closest contact to the athletic director as it comes. You're
Okay.
kind of the business side of the whole program. So um, I think with the whole staff, I think we're close to about 40 people, 45.
Okay.
And
Okay. So it's kind of
man,
like a business almost.
it's so I always play around whenever I tell people this, man. Playing football is the easiest thing you can do when you go to college, man. Being on the other side of it, seeing how many people make these games and players go, man, it's crazy. And I always laugh whenever I sit down with the guys. I'm like, man, y'all got the easiest job. Trust me. You just show up, go to class, and then go to football, and that's it.
Yeah. How big are those classes for kids that go to Utah, coach? Is it pretty big class or pretty small intimate environment? And how big is Utah as a campus?
Man, Utah, the campus isn't too big.
Hmm.
You'd actually be real surprised if you ever stop by. It's real beautiful. The classes are real small. They can be. I was in a lot of classes when I was here that were like 30, the most 30 people.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think a lot of the times when you're trying to get your generals done, those are the bigger classes. But usually right after that, when you decide what major you want to go into, that's when the classes start getting real small. So it's real easy for kids to stay caught up and not be afraid to ask the teachers questions if they fall behind. So they
Man,
do a
what
real good job.
it look like it's warm back there, man. I thought it was cold in Utah. It look like it's warm back there.
It's warming up out here. We was just at 103 yesterday, so we
Ooh.
holding it down out here. So we got that dry heat, so we ain't got no humidity out here. So we're just living our best lives out here, trying to enjoy it. It's
So cold.
football weather.
It don't get cold out there. I thought it don't get cold or snow out there.
Usually, towards the Halloween and going into Christmas, that's when it starts getting really cold up here. We usually get to like the 15s, sometimes the 10s, and we still practice in it and we still play, so we
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
just roll with
Yeah. 23 minutes in, man. That's a wrap. Hood Scout from Dallas to Utah, man. Coach, appreciate you. I know you with your family, so I didn't want to draw this one out too long, but I think 20 minutes is enough, man. So enjoy your family, man, and keep climbing the ranks,
it. Yes,
brother.
sir.
All
Appreciate you.
right. Take
Thanks for
care.
having me
Yes,
in.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, Doc.